This is the flowchart guaranteed to get you laid the second you walk into a club, the second you walk into a bar. In this video, I'm teaching you how to have a conversation that leads towards sex. That never leaves you asking yourself, how do I get this girl from having a friendly conversation to wanting to look at me as a sexual prospect? Now, I've been a professional wingman for 10 years, and I've been teaching this now for 6. This is exactly what we're gonna be talking about and touching upon right here, right now.
Yo, bitch, I got some buzzes clawing at my fucking stomach. I'm from the shadows.
I made a JPEG file of this entire flowchart, so if you guys were interested in downloading it, check out the link in the description below and in the comment section below. Now, this is actually something I didn't touch upon in the previous video, and something that I left out that I want to really quickly reiterate. So in this section right here, I had what to do when you're in a good mood, what to do when you're in bad mood. But I didn't tell you guys what to do when you're in a really terrible mood. So this is that right here. So sometimes, no matter what state you're in, something can happen. Something can get thrown against the wall, and then guess what? You're stuck in your head and you can't get out. So what is there to do? Reset. You have to reset. So the way that you reset is you set an alarm on your phone for 15 and 30 minutes. You find something to do that is not approaching women, that is not being social, and you chill out. Leave the venue for a little bit, chill out. And if you can't leave the venue, then in that case, just enjoy the music. Set an alarm 15 minutes. Do not think about approaching. Just enjoy the music and focus on relaxing. Relaxation is the key to getting into a good headspace. Relaxation is the key to experiencing any positive emotions. Relaxation. If you're stressed out, if you're anxious, there's no way of you starting to feel more alive, of you feeling in the zone of in the pocket. So this is something you really want to be focusing on and checking out. Now, once you do your 30 minutes, get back in the club, start approaching again. With that being said, this is the section that I went over in the next piece. So this is what you do when you approach a girl. Quick synopsis: approach a girl if she's sexy. You gauge the response. If she's a really bad response, just leave. Unless you're doing some kind of weird goal with yourself, which you should probably only do maybe a few times over the course of a decade. It's not your bread and butter to try to flip girls that are just really hating you. I mean, there is a way, which I'll get into in a second, but it's not what you want to be doing. So here is the one branch of this tree that I did not get into. So bad response. What to do when they have a bad response. Now, you got to ask yourself, are you in a good or a bad headspace? Now, this is basically a response that's just uncomfortable. It's not like a fuck you, but it's like a response. It's a response where she does not like your presence. Now, if this is the case, you got to ask yourself, are you in a bad headspace or are you in a good headspace? If you're in a bad, leave. Now, if you're in a good, stick around. Now, if you're in a good, this is the moment where you want to be asking yourself, what is your state? How positive are you? How upbeat? How in the pocket are you? Versus her reaction, her negative reaction. How strong was her negative reaction to you? And your personal goals. Do you have a personal goal of trying to flip girls? Do you have a personal goal of sticking out awkward situations? If not, leave again, leave. But if you're in a good headspace and you're killing it, then in that case, let go of the outcome of the interaction, mental gymnastics. Like we talked about in the previous video, you want to get in a headspace of, I'm going to lose this no matter what I do. So I'm going to be so cocky that I'm daring her to reject me. Now, once you're there, once you get her past this point and once she's into you, then you fall back to the conversation loop, which we're going to get into now. Here is the conversation loop. Now, for those of you guys who are curious about this is how you keep a conversation going. This is my primo strategy. Now, you could do other strategies such as a cold read. So instead of asking a question, you could cold read, which is a very popular response to what do I do when it sounds like getting to know you questions or you sound like you're in interview mode. I'm going to tell you why it sounds like you're in interview mode. It's because you have the mentality that this girl's above you in value, one, and you need something from her, which is whatever, but you can fake the tone of a guy that is in the pocket, that is in the zone. So I'll get into that right now. So here's the thing. There's a tone that when you take on is very attractive, that is indicating that you believe you're higher value than the person you're talking to. The way you should be talking is, I'm daddy. The way you should be talking is, I'm leader of men. The way you should be talking is, I have boundaries that I don't mind erecting, that I don't mind leaving you for. Like, this conversation is tenuous for me as well. I don't have to be here. I can go talk to somebody else that I find attractive. But it's also too an upbeat, lifted, humorous conversation where you are self-amusing and you're trying to bring her into the fun and you're trying to make her feel a more upbeat mood, which is emotional contagion. You feel upbeat, you feel good energy, then she starts feeling upbeat and in a good headspace. If you're negative and you're down, if you're leechy, she's going to feel that energy and she's going to want to get away from you. Well, it was nice to meet you. How many times have you guys heard that? The worst response you could possibly have. So it's all about the tone, the pauses, the varying the tone, the volume, varying volume. It's about eye contact. It is about moments of stillness, of moments of self-expression. It's about being free-flowing, loose, but also not just spastic, but having both the expression and the ability to express, but also the ability to just have stillness, to have pauses, to have moments where maybe you don't even respond to one of her questions. You're just like, maybe you just give a one-word question. Maybe you're not qualifying. Maybe you're not. Maybe leave a vacuum for her to fill for you. Now, here is the system for me. I ask a getting to know you question, or a question about logistics, or just I come something out of the blue to talk to her about. And then what I do, I improv off of it. Then once I run out of things to say, once I'm just out of it, then I go back to questions. Question, improv off the question. So it's not just back to back. How old are you? Where are you from? Ask a question, then fill in the blank with improv. And then once you run out of things to improv, then ask another question to set another base, and then improv off of that. Now, when you're doing this stuff, use the proper tone. Add pauses. Give eye contact. Be cocky. Smile. And be genuinely intrigued with talking to her, but also be free of outcome.
Then again,
Avery.
you need to stop approaching boys. All right, this is weird. I like just approached me out of nowhere. Now we're in a conversation.
I approached
You don't know if
you.
what if I had a girlfriend, dude?
Okay,
Come
you
on.
approached me, and you asked if I was a lesbian, so I don't even.
Frame it that she was a bad girl there for a second. So then she was more open. Then I started talking about adventure stuff, about drinking and partying, to show her that I didn't care about that kind of those kind of things, because I want to try to pump her into an adventurous frame and let her know that I won't judge her for that kind of stuff. Then I made it so then I accused her of approaching me instead of the other way around. And I started saying, you need to stop approaching cute boys, assuming also saying that I was cute and attractive and hiding that in the frame. So the cool thing about frames is that whenever you put a frame, when you put multiple frames over the top, she's going to fight the frames. But here's the thing, which frame have all those frames she's going to fight? She's going to fight the one that I approached her. So the frame that gets snuck in there is that I'm attractive and she finds me attractive.
There's nothing wrong with showing somebody that you are a masculine entity. There's nothing in the world wrong with it. And a lot of you guys are too afraid to stand up for yourselves. Don't be afraid to. Don't be afraid to walk on a girl. You're allowed to reject a girl. Oh my God, rejecting a girl is insane, isn't it? Why don't guys ever reject girls? They're like below them, begging them to give them any kind of positive response. Why not leave spaces? Why not be the one that's chased? Why not be the prize instead of the seller? Which is what we're going to get into with the improv. Now, I'm going to show you guys a clip right now of me weaving in conversation threads and underlying things into a conversation. I do it a lot in my improv. I am very good at sneaking stuff past the goalie. So establishing buyer seller frame. Be a gentleman, buy me a drink. I'm not a piece of meat. I have emotions. Things like this. I am very good at setting up the buyer seller dynamic. I'm also really good at self-amusing. I'm incredible at self-amusing. I can make myself laugh, which gets me in a good headspace. And then also because I'm laughing, emotional contagion, by the law of state transference, she starts getting emotional and she starts feeling my emotions, and then she starts feeling my emotions. Now, we can also do we-frames where I bring her into a secret and maybe start talking about something, gossiping. That is a we-frame. It builds an alliance between her and me. Maybe we make an inside joke. We can also build up our state. I can also try to build my state up when I'm talking to her and having conversations. I can seed logistics. I can tell her how amazing my view is. I can tell her I have a hot tub. I can tell her there's an after party. So many different things, and then come back around to it later. I can also knock out any logistical problems that might pop up later in the conversation. I can logically bridge, which you guys want me to make a video about that. I can do that. I bait for qualification, which again, that's something I make a video about. Punishment, reward systems. So that's also something I probably shouldn't even get into, but you guys can probably figure out what exactly that is. Establish leadership. So leading, moving her to the bar, asking her if she wants to go to the deck, taking her on a date, walking her from point A to point B, and feeling okay with being the leader in any situation, which whether she's with her friends, whether she's by herself, I am leading the troop. I am the leader. I am in charge. giving off those kind of vibes. Working together, befriending her friends, moving it forward, move her through a yes ladder. Like get her to say yes to a small thing and then bigger, bigger, bigger. And over time, eventually saying yes to the big things. Now, you want to do this and you want to be going back and forth. Now, this part right here is really elaborate and really advanced. For those of you guys who are having a hard enough time with this, don't worry about all of this. Just worry about this. This will come with experience and years. This is something that you can focus on and don't add too much to it. Just worry about this. When you try to add all this extra shit, I can do this on autopilot without thinking. This part right here is my bread and butter, but this you need to figure out first. Don't overstress yourself trying to figure out how do I add all this extra stuff. I've just been doing this for a decade. So this stuff, yes, for those guys who've been doing this for a long time and this is effortless, then you can start adding a lot of this stuff. Now, at some point, you start thinking of leaving or pulling. Now, we're going to go to the pull section, which I will actually show you guys in the next video. I'm now working my way towards selling the Phoenix Bootcamp. If you guys were interested in jumping on some spots for Phoenix, the phone number is 702-841-9909. Message me at 702-841-9909. Message me Phoenix and I'll get right back to you. Now, this just takes practice. If you're not there yet to do all this extra stuff, back to the basics. Like I said in the previous video, it's about not putting too much on your plate, because the second you put too much on your plate, guess what happens? You start locking up, you stop being authentic. You're not capable of having a free, loose conversation. This is a soft skill, not a hard skill. It's not playing a piano. A soft skill is played in a more of a no-mind mind, whereas a hard skill like playing the piano can be a lot more rote. If you're learning this like as if it's a rote system, you're messing up. You need to be learning mindsets and principles. Don't put too much on your plate. Focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. And if you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, peace.
Yeah, bitch, I got